Welcome to Season 3 of Trap Talk.
Brought to you by Craigoff, the choice of champions.
All right, folks, we got to take a quick second and give a huge shout out to our title sponsor, Craigoff. Me and Ricky both shoot them. We both love them.
Yeah, best gun in the industry. I shoot them. I sell them. Nothing better, folks. Get yourself a Craigoff. Your scores will increase.
Yeah, I mean, Ricky's got hundreds and hundreds and hundreds with his. I mean, I've got a few hundreds, but I'm always working to get a little bit better, and they definitely help me, that's for sure. So on top of that, we also got to thank Winnig. I'm wearing the shirt today. Love this shirt. If you're down at the Grand, pick one up.
Yeah, Winnig, like I said, Zach, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds with my Winnig stock. You know, get a hold of Bobby, Luke, Bill, get an appointment set up. They will make you a better shooter with that Winnig stock.
Of course, yeah, the Grand's the great place to do it. Give them a call, get on their book. It's worth your time.
Just remember, winners shoot Winnigs.
With that being said,
let's get back to the show.
Welcome back, Trap Talk listeners. I'm your host, Zach Nannini. We're at Trap Talk, where we discuss all things trap shooting, interviewing the trap shooting greats. I've got my co-host, Richard Marshall Jr., the one and only. And I've got our friend from up north where they're talking about the tariffs, old Beau Douglas, just, up where we get the oil and, the maple leaves and the, all that good stuff up there. Welcome to the show, everyone.
Thanks.
Well, Ricky, you've been friends with Beau for quite some time. Tell the listeners a little bit about him. What association does he represent? What do we need to know?
Beau's from up north from the OPTA, which is the Ontario Provincial Trap Association, right?
Yeah.
Perfect. See, I hit it right. So, Beau's been, he did some stuff with us at the Grand last year, helped out. And now, Beau, you're the treasurer, right?
Yeah, secretary-treasurer.
Of the OPTA. BJ Jackman's the president. We didn't want BJ on. He's too busy. Says he's farming. Who knows what he's doing, really?
Yeah.
But, you can't count on him.
No.
Sure you can.
Exactly. Well, you can. BJ's a good guy. So, we're here to discuss stuff about the provincial shoot coming up in July, and then just pretty much trap shooting up north. A lot of people have talked about going up there. I've been up and shot the Calgary Stampede before. Great place to shoot. Background was awesome, but I've never been up to Ontario and shot, and I'm going to try to come up for the July shoot. We'll see. Still waiting on my wife to decide if she can get off work to do it or not. So, but yeah.
Well, Beau, it's great to have you on the show. To start, I think we're definitely going to talk about the shoot later, as Ricky said, but let's talk a little bit about traveling to Canada, because I know a lot of the listeners here in the United States, they've probably never been to Canada, let alone went to Canada to shoot. So, just walk us through, like, if they were to fly, if they were to drive, what's the situation with the guns? What's the situation with the ammunition? Like,
Sure.
How does all that work, going from border to border?
Yeah, it's not that complicated, really. Like, there is a form you got to fill out when you get to the border. Much like when we go to the States, we have a form we fill out with the ATF, and you submit it every year, and they approve it or they don't. You have to list all your guns, all your ammo, all that kind of stuff, and tell them where you're going. And it kind of parallels that. So it's a form you find online. You just fill it out. The big thing is you don't sign it till you get to the bridge or to the border. If you're flying, you declare your guns like you guys would on a domestic flight. When you get here, when you clear customs, you have to do all that with them. It's really not that complicated. We're not here to talk politics at all, but you can't bring handguns across the bridge. So, whatever Americans have going on in that way, you'd want to make sure you clean your truck out or clean your car out before you come.
Yeah.
No pistol arrows.
Yeah, random bullets and whatever else you have going on. But
is ammunition an issue too if you're driving, or different types of handgun ammunition specifically?
No, you can bring shotgun shells with you if you're using them over here. Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, but you wouldn't want to be bringing handgun stuff across at all.
Don't bring the 357.
Yeah. Is there a limit on the number of cases you can bring into Canada, or?
I think the wording, Rick, is reasonable, is how they say it. You're going to a shoot that's 1,000 targets. It would be reasonable to have 1,500 or 2,000 or whatever. But yeah, you can't be coming with 50,000.
Don't roll in there with a pallet of shells just trying to get them in. But I would think if you are going to a shoot, you're probably going to have the program. And so you could probably say, hey, this is the program of the shoot, and
Yep.
this is what I'm bringing in. And that would be a reasonable way of getting that through, correct? I mean, would you recommend making sure you have a program with you when you're bringing shells in from the United States?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay.
Whether you have the shoot program, you can also request a letter from me. I'm more than happy to write like a generic kind of invitation.
That might get us a pallet.
Yeah, sure. And that's something too, like, it sounds foreign to a lot of people, but that's something too that we have to do coming down to shoot in the States.
We're definitely not selling shells. We're just bringing them up to shoot them. It's got to say that in the thing, right?
Yeah. Just a website, just a shameless plug. LostTarget.com is a good website that kind of has a step-by-step. If you're doing this, then do this. If you're flying, then do this.
Who owns that website?
Joe Petoskey is who owns that.
Okay, because that's been around for a long time. I remember the first time when I flew up to Calgary.
Oh, this is cool. I'm on here right now.
Yeah, to shoot it. I looked. I was like, oh, okay. And of course, at that time I was working for Kohler, and I had my form and had it off. But when I got there, they knew more about me than I knew about myself.
Right. Yeah.
But
you good website. It's got step by step, and he updates the links so that they're relatively current. And it's like anything, right? You got to do your own research, but it's not really a complicated process.
It says up to 1,500 rounds duty free for use at recognized competitions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So,
okay.
And I'm sure you could probably get more too if you said,
well,
hey,
that's per person too, I'm sure.
Yeah, per person. So that's not bad. And there's videos. I'm looking at this website right now. There's videos traveling to Canada with a shotgun. Watch this video. These are the rules. These are the regulations. These are the paperwork. I mean, this is actually.
We'll have to
really.
We'll tag it below or above and
the lost target. That's really, really helpful. I've never seen that before. Thank you for that.
Yeah, no, it's good.
So for you guys, transitioning to your shoots, how many big shoots a year do you guys have up there, and what are the main clubs?
So in Ontario, we have our provincials every year. There's the Canadian Championships that rotates east-west. We had it as a satellite after COVID. It comes to Ontario every 3 or 4 years. And then last year was out in British Columbia, and then it'll be in Brandon or Calgary, Edmonton. And then up until this year, really that's it. We have your Sunday shoots. There's a couple holiday weekend shoots with 75, 100, 150 people. And then our provincials is about 200 maybe or so.
Okay.
And then this year, for the first time, we've got the Eastern Zone has transitioned to a satellite for the first time. So we're having a satellite Eastern Zone over here as well.
Oh, really?
So July will be pretty busy. 3 weekends out of 4, we'll have pretty big shoots, high caliber shoots that are hopefully well attended. And it's good to the biggest thing is giving people the opportunity, right?
Is the provincial the biggest shoot that you have, or which one's the biggest one?
Yeah, it would be usually it's the biggest. When the Canadians come to Ontario, it's comparable size, sometimes a little bit bigger, but our provincial shoot is definitely our biggest.
And how many do you think will be attending that shoot
this year?
Yeah.
200, our singles, hopefully we have about 200. Usually we have about 170, 180. Back, just like everything, guys, back 15 years ago, there was 300, 325, and that's just kind of just like everything. The grand's not what it was. No shoot's really what it was.
No.
We all know that, but.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think that there's hope for the future. I see some people getting excited about the sport. I know there's a lot of people that listen to our show that are dusting off their shotguns for the first time in 10, 20, 30 years. And so that's exciting. But it's going to take some time, and, it has to do with the economy. It has to do with, people taking their time away from their family, or, where they're going to spend money. I mean, there's a lot of things. I mean, I've shot trap for a long time, and I've never made a trip up to Canada. And now it's like on my list of things to do, because Pat's always bugging me and saying, hey, when are you going to come up here and shoot in Canada? And I say, I don't even really know about any of the shoots. So it's really fun to get to know the information with what's going on there. And looking at your program, it looks like you guys are giving a heck of a lot of good stuff. I mean, what are the highlights of what's being given away, if you know?
Yeah, that's been something that's been maybe the last 3 or 4 or 5 years. It's been a focus of our board to to turn it into something, right? We all know that you can go to a shoot and shoot targets anywhere you want. It'd be, I went to Dale's for the first time 3 years ago, and you
Yep.
kind of you get really aware or woken up of a shoot is that more than just go shoot your targets and go home, right? And that's an evolution in trap shooting that's happening at a lot of places, and we're kind of trying to do the same thing. You have your extra events, you have giveaways for this and dinners or meals when you can, special events, whatever you want to call them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever you can do to attract people to come, and when they're there, give them as much value for their money as you can.
Yeah.
So this year we started with try to get more added money, and this year we've kind of added because at St. Thomas, where the shoot is this year, we're doing they do 200 targets a day there. They have 10 traps, so we turn that into 5 banks, and they do 200 targets a day. But people want to keep shooting, so we've added an extra event to each day.
So you're shooting 3 a day then?
Well, just like we'll have our 200 targets and then something on top of that.
On top of, okay.
Yeah. Like one night we're going to do buddy backup doubles from the 27-yard line. And I'm looking for a partner, Rick, just so you know.
Everybody's always looking for Rick as a partner. That's what it is. But one time I was shooting off with a partner with him in the Iowa thing, and he didn't even have his gun loaded all the way. He's like, I ain't ready. And I'm like, what the heck?
I was ready. Zach calls. It don't come out. I put my gun down. It comes out. He shoots, misses both of them, and then I shoot and hit one, and he goes,
no. I hit one and I missed one. Let's get the story right.
No,
okay,
you missed both.
You did hit one from like the hip. You did hit one from like the hip. It was impressive. And I said, "Aren't you going to shoot the damn thing?" As I'll shoot with boom, and he hit it. So it was a lot of fun, honestly. But it's exciting to hear that you guys are trying your best to incentivize people to come up there and check out the shoot. I guess tell me a little bit more about the gun club. I mean, what's the background like? How many traps do you have? What's the food situation? Do you guys have like a diner in the clubhouse, or food trucks, or just give people kind of a visual of what they're walking into if they come to this shoot?
Yeah, so our provincials, we traditionally the last 10 or 15 years we've rotated between 2 clubs. St. Thomas, where it is this year, they have for a visual, it's a 10 trap club in the middle of a city park in the middle of St. Thomas. It's one of the more unique places I've been, that you have 10 traps, west to east, and 20 feet beside the furthest trap to the west, there's 2 or 3 soccer fields.
Wow.
While the shoot's going on, there's 7-year-olds, 12-year-olds playing soccer, parents using the clubhouse as if it's raining, or the washroom. It's pretty cool from a community point of view. It's unique for sure. Obviously, it's very safe, right? It's all measured out, whatever. But yeah, so they run 10 traps there. There will be food trucks there for that. There's for the first time ever this year, they've got 30 campsites as well, which is a big improvement over years past. And kudos to the new president and his team there. He took over a year ago, and it's just been night and day in terms of the improvements that they've focused on and tried to make. Nice background, good targets, good clubhouse. That's about it. It's a great place to shoot. And then the other club, go ahead. Sorry, Zach.
You said the other club is Ontario?
The other club is the Hamilton Gun Club, and it's in Stony Creek up on the mountain, the Niagara Escarpment, for you geography buffs in Nebraska, no doubt. Nice targets. They have 12 traps there. It's one of the oldest gun clubs in Canada for sure, if not the oldest. Great club. Great shooters have always come out of both clubs, which just a little bit of history or context of St. Thomas is, the home of Terry Jordan.
Yep. Wall chart.
Yeah. Vern Higgs' home club. And then, and many other people. And Hamilton has got I don't know if you guys have met them. The Semensis family is just right up the road from that gun club. And Peter's a legend in Ontario. He's got 40 or 45 OPTA titles and Eastern Zone titles. And you
then
go
his son, right?
Yeah. Chris has been an All-American the last couple of years. And and I always say the best shooter in the family is his daughter. She just doesn't shoot a ton, but when she does, she goes out and wax a 98 just as easy as anybody else. So
Now, how do you pronounce her last name?
Semensis.
Semensis. Don't
You can
look like
pronounce it any way you want, but
yeah.
Semensis is how
Okay.
you say it. And yeah, great people at both
Yep.
clubs, and we're just trying to grow the shoot, to turn it into something that people want to come to.
All right, folks, we got to take a real quick break and acknowledge the official target of the ATA, White Flyer. They've been sponsoring us since the beginning, and they make a great target. What do you think, Rick?
It's the best target in the ATA. Shout out to everybody there, all the reps, Bill Daniels, Josh Taylor, Nick Arnold, Robert Crow, everything they do for the sport and all the shoots. Really appreciate it.
They're always there. They're always trying to make a better target, and they're always supporting the game that we love so much. All right, Trap Talk listeners, let's take a couple seconds and thank a couple more sponsors. First of all, Remington's been with us since day one. I've been shooting these shells since 2007. I shoot the Nitro 27 from the 27-yard line, ounce and eighth, 7.5, and STS ounce and eighth eighths for singles and doubles. They've worked great for me, as they do a lot of top shooters all around the country. Give them a try. Don't forget the Gun Club line when you're practicing and you're wanting to save a little bit of money.
We'd also like to thank another sponsor, Outlaw Engineering. Randy Freston, R2. I've known Randy since 1988. They do engineering, surveying, drafting, GIS, civil, structural, land development, wetland permitting. They do it all.
And they're friends of trap shooters. I mean, they're a trap shooting family. They've been in the ATA forever. His dad's been involved. They're involved. They're a beautiful family. They're great people. And we just love that they listen to the show, and we love that they support Trap Talk.
Yeah, his dad was past president in 1989. So I really want to thank those guys for the support. I really appreciate it. All right, folks, we need to take a quick second and get to a new show sponsor, Big Red Motorsports. Big Red, they're personal friends of mine, Jason and George Lee, and they're also a personal sponsor of mine.
Now, I'll say this. Ricky looked great driving around in that side-by-side. I got some free rides down at Tucson, the Autumn Grand. I think it's awesome that they deliver all across the country, and obviously they love trap shooters, they love trap shooting, and they're doing a great job.
Listen, they got Can-Am, Kawasaki, CF Moto, Triton trailers. Hit them up.
All right, Trap Talk listeners, we got to take a real quick break, and I've got something that I'm so excited to announce. Trapshooting USA has now become the official magazine of the Trap Talk podcast.
No, it's not only Trapshooting USA now. It's Wing and Clay Life, Lady Outdoor Lifestyles, and Clay Shooting USA.
I'm just really excited because they make such a high-quality magazine. I mean, if you guys haven't had these magazines and you actually get to touch them in your hands, they've got really thick paper, they're really glossy, and they keep it really cool. I mean, I just love it.
The Traveling Gunsmith, and then in this newest episode, we have...
Oh, man. Look at those handsome guys. I love this. I love it. I love it. So also on top of that, Outdoor Pursuits Media, Matt, he's decided that he's going to give away a shotgun at the Grand American this year at our live podcast studio. If you weren't there last year, you missed out. You need to be there this year. It's going to be great. The only thing you have to do is either renew or subscribe to any one of these magazines, and you're going to be in for the drawing for the gun. And we're going to have all that information in the future. Just look out for it, and we'll keep you updated for sure.
With that, let's get back to the show. Well, especially over the 4th of July with the... Now, are you guys always going to have a shoot at that time frame?
Yeah, we moved the Provincials 2 or 3 years ago. I think maybe more than that. Maybe 5 years ago we moved it. It used to be right before the Grand.
Yeah.
So we would you'd shoot on the Sunday or the Monday, and then you're going to the Grand, and you're going from there. And the Eastern Zone was a weekend before.
Yep.
Yeah, and that's kind of was on top of the Grand Pacific then, no? Or
yeah, that'd be close.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it was just kind of one of those things for people that were going to shoot. You're saying you're going to, take 3.5, 4 weeks off in the middle of the summer and go shoot. And that was hard for people. So we kind of moved it around.
Of course. But the other thing you don't have to worry about, it's not like you're drawing people from, other shoots in the country. Like if the Grand Pacific is in Washington, I doubt a bunch of people aren't going to your shoot because of that. I mean, they're just so far away. I mean, you're either going to one or the other generally. I mean, maybe one or two people, but not, big crowds. Like if we were throwing a state shoot in Missouri and then throwing another state shoot in Kansas on the same week. I mean, that would be, devastating because you've got so many people that get split and divided, where I think the farther you are away, the less that's an issue,
Yeah, absolutely.
So I want to talk a little about the food. I mean, I haven't heard about fine Canadian cuisine, like, other than poutine. What do you guys got up there that's going to bring me up? Because me and Ricky, we like to eat.
That's it. Just poutine. That's all we're going to have. And if you don't like it, then that's your fault. That's your problem. Well, the food's great. Whatever it is.
So is there poutine at the clubhouse every day? Is that something I can get? Is that like a regular, is that what they start you guys on? Or
Well, you drink maple syrup for breakfast, and then you'll have poutine for no. The food truck this year is actually a new thing, so I'm not sure what the menu will be, but the food will be good, And St. Thomas is right near London, which is about 400,000 people. It's a big city, so there'll be any and everything you could imagine in terms of food, 15 minutes away.
So they fly into St. Thomas?
I would probably think most people would fly into Toronto, and then that would be maybe an hour and a half.
Okay. So fly into Toronto,
Yep.
hour and a half drive. You're
Yep.
in St. Thomas.
Correct.
Lots of accommodation, lots of hotels, lots of Airbnbs and things like that. Or do you guys got like a different, is it Canadian Airbnb or something up there? I don't even know.
Well, most of the igloos will be melted by the summer, so you got to figure out a different way. But no, there'll be tons of hotels in London. St. Thomas has got their fair share as well.
Now, how about value? One thing I want to discuss, I mean, and I know a little bit about it, but as far as if we're coming over with American dollars and we're converting, do we have to convert to Canadian, or do we just use our American currency and it's all good over there? And then as far as buying power, does it feel cheaper when we're coming over there to Canada, or does it feel more expensive? Because you've been back and forth. What's your take on it?
Yeah, no, I think that's a huge part of where we're at now. That an American dollar is worth $1.42, $1.45 Canadian, right? So you're getting way better value for your money. Prices of the targets, like this year, they're going to be $46, $47, which sounds like a lot, but that's 30, that's $32, $33 American, right? That's giving them.
We're rolling.
All right, Trap Talk listeners, we got to take a quick break, and we got to welcome a new sponsor to the show, RGS Boar Stripper. It's a great product. Ricky, tell them how they can find it.
Go to their website, rgsguncleaner.com. You can get the 1 8-ounce bottle, free shipping, 2 8-ounce bottle, and you get the 2-ounce travel bottle, and it's free shipping also. Or just get the little 2-ounce bottle for travel.
Yeah, they sent me some of this product, and I used it on my Krieghoff choke tubes the other day, and it got the plastic out like in a minute, and it was super cool and super good. So if you like cleaning your gun, you like eliminating plastic, and you like shiny bores, give them a try for sure. Thank you so much for supporting the show.
Yeah, we'd really like to thank John Weber, the owner, for the support. He's doing an awesome job.
Yeah, we really want to thank John. We appreciate the support of the show. Anybody that supports Trap Talk, you guys need to support them and get this stuff because it's awesome.
And with that, let's get back to the show.
But no, and that is hopefully a selling point for a few people that, you're getting 45% on your dollars.
And I've never even vacationed over there. I mean, is a hotel like the standard kind of $100 a night Canadian over there as it is over here? $100 a night?
Same, yeah.
Yeah, prices, I would say, Zach, like you said, I live 300 yards from the American border and going back and forth. Prices are, they're the same.
Okay.
More or less.
Well, that's good to know, because I know a lot of people, if they're going to put this on their bucket list or their trip to do, they're going to ask these questions. We get emails all the time. What's it cost? Where do we stay? What's it like? What do we do? And I think if we're going to get some people to come up there, these are the kind of questions that people need answered. I mean, trap shooters love to plan everything, and they love to have a budget. And I think they're a little frugal, if I've noticed anything correctly. But I mean, sometimes. But
yeah.
But I guess, is there anything else that we're missing about this shoot that people need to know? Other announcements, other special things?
Oh, there's a laundry list of things we're throwing out there. One of the things we decided to do, we're gonna award $5,000 if you break 100 in handicap, and if no one does, rather than just have it be this gimmick that hangs there, and if no one breaks it, the money's gone. We're gonna add that money into the HOA Lewis, which already has $4,000 in it. So then that Lewis will have $9,000 added to it. And then we've got a Lewis for the high all around with a couple $1,000 in it. Lewis is for each of the 3 disciplines. Your singles, handicap, doubles. They've got $1,500 added to those.
There's quite a bit of money.
Yeah. And then another thing, which we started doing last year, because I believe, the money, you have to spread the money out. That's a fact of the current landscape for sure. But you go to a championship shoot and you win, you deserve something for winning as well. So
Of course.
So we created last year. We had like a high score pool. So you take the high handicap score of the week, and that person wins $1,000. You take the high double score of the week, and that person wins. And if you tie, you split it, whatever. But that rewards if you break a good score, you deserve something for that.
Now, I do have a question, and this I don't know the answer to this, so forgive me for asking. But does Pat go to a lot of these shoots and just kick everybody's butt, or is he like stay at home and say, oh, "Okay, you guys can get the maple syrup this weekend"?
Well, Pat's his own man. He can do what he wants. He's come to the Canadians in Hamilton for sure, but he's never.
Is he coming this year?
I am not sure. I haven't talked to him.
I didn't think he was when we had talked to him, Zach.
I mean,
so
the
Zach,
thing
you might
is
want
that
to come. You got a chance.
I might say, hey, Pat's not going. I'm in. Now, do you guys have out-of-state trophies? Like,
all non-residents.
All non-resident is USA, or is it just like all Canadian stuff?
Well, all our trophies are open except for our championship events, and then we have money for the non-residents in the singles, handicap, doubles, and then in all around in the overall. Yeah, there's couple non-resident trophies for sure.
Now, is the money, is that USD currency, or what are we getting paid? So I'd ask.
I wish. Not yet. But yeah, no, Pat, he's 35 hours away. So
is that how far he is?
Oh man, yeah, it's not nothing's close in Canada, as you guys know. When you look at the map.
So he'd have to fly then. He don't even want to drive.
No, I hope he drives, actually, if he comes. I hope he drives.
Drive?
I hope he's nice and tired when he got here.
Oh, man, that's horrible. 35 hours, that's like...
only 13 hours for me over there.
That's like California to New York almost. Like, that's...
Oh, it's a long way.
Where's Pat live at?
Manitoba, right?
Somewhere in Manitoba, yeah. And it's a haul. It's a haul. But
Yeah.
Like you're 30 hours to win to.
We're learning geography today on Trap Talk.
Yeah, we don't need to talk about this. It's a long way.
It's a haul.
Is it closer though? Wouldn't it be better to fly into Detroit?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say earlier. If like an American easily, you just fly into Detroit and you're 2.5 hours driving here from there.
I'm gonna look right now.
So Detroit, rent a car and then cross the border.
Yeah. You could do that. It'd be 2 hours driving.
Yeah, 2-hour drive going through. Was it Chatham?
Windsor, probably.
Yeah. You're going south a little bit. Yeah, Tecumseh instead of going north. You can go through Port Huron.
Yeah,
but that's about 30 minutes further.
Right.
So, but yeah, either way. But honestly, it might be better to fly into Canada with your gun into Toronto and then drive, because it's easier doing it that way, I think, than crossing the border.
Yeah, I think it'd be about the same, but it's just whatever you're comfortable with, whatever you want to do.
All right, folks, we got to take a quick second and give a shout out to the Cardinal Center in Marengo, Ohio. They hold the Cardinal Classic, and they also hold the Ohio State Shoot, which is home of the first back fence shootout. Ricky, what do you think about Ohio?
Listen, I love the Cardinal Center. I actually broke the first 100 from the 27 there at their very first shoot ever. Great place, Jake Spangler and their whole clan there. They do an awesome job at running the shoots. The Ohio State shoots ran by the Ohio State Association. The Cardinal Classic's right after the Grand, so if you're looking for some more points right after the Grand, hit that up so you can get a little more points than old Zach here. But listen, it's a great shoot. Great facility.
It really is. I personally love the RVs. They've got great camping there. They've got a great time, good shoot, good target presentation. Go check it out. It's worth putting on your list. With that being said,
let's get back to the show.
So here's a question I have for you, Beau. You're obviously on the board. You obviously care about trap shooting. You love listening to the show, so thank you for the support. Yep. What made you decide to become a guy that helps out? Because I know one of the biggest things that we deal with in the United States, from state to state or even nationwide, is not a lot of people volunteer, not a lot of people help, not a lot of people, give back to the sport and put their time and energy. And I know as the treasurer, that's a huge position that probably takes up a ton of time. And I know, those positions are generally not compensated positions. So, what made you decide, hey, I want to do this? And kind of what's your journey in serving the community?
Well, I got roped into it, to be honest, but no, just kidding. I think we all hit a point, much like what you guys are doing, right, with this podcast. It takes time and effort, and you hit a point where you just think you have to find a way to contribute if you want trap shooting or your local gun club. If you want it to be a certain way, you have to put the time in, and you have to commit to that. So I think that myself personally, I just see the opportunity, jump in there, get to it, and while you're there, you might as well try to do the best job you can. If that's trying to grow the shoot, trying to get better trophies, throw better targets, make a better program, whatever your focus is, just jump in and have at it, and then try to start.
How long have you been shooting?
Oh,
You've
forever.
been shooting since the early 90s.
Yeah, I started when I was 11, 12 years old, shooting at Jakeways. Was the first place I went and shot.
The old Finley.
Yep. First time I saw factory double A's was at that shoot. Broke a big 67. I remember that. But yeah, no, I always shot a little bit, and then
You never forget 67s.
No, I always shot a little bit, and then probably spent about 10 years just shooting handicap because that's what I could afford to do. That's what I like to shoot. I like that, that it's difficult, and that's what I did. And then the last 4 or 5 years, I started shooting a little bit more just because, just like everybody, right? You hit a point you can afford to do it, or you want to do it more, so that's what you do.
Yeah.
But the big thing is just finding a way to give back or contribute and do your best while you're doing it.
Yeah. Well, and I think what you're doing with this shoot, and you guys put a lot of added money. I know there's been a lot of thought into doing this, to try to grow the shoot, because like you said, doing the extra events is really important. And that's for all the, clubs out there that if you want to gain some shooters, throw in a couple dinners or just even some drinks and hors d'oeuvres to show appreciation for the people coming to your shoot. It really does make a difference with shooters out there. And I've seen that from clubs coast to coast, from shooting at or even going to teach at here in the States, guys, they're like, hey, we're going to have an hors d'oeuvre hour and a couple hours free drinks. They did it at Tucson this year at the Spring Grand. There was, I think it was 2 hours or something and free drinks at the bar.
So and those 2 hours, you made sure you were there?
You know what? I only got in on it for like 15 minutes the last time, and I was like, really? Right while we're shooting?
Yeah.
The free hours at Tucson were like noon to 2. Everybody's shooting.
No. I'm all about some free poutine.
Absolutely.
You get that stuff rolling, the cheese curds, the gravy, little fries. I'm about it. But I think any little thing you can do, to echo what Ricky's saying, just to show people that you care and you're trying to build the community, because at the end of the day, what are we going to the shoot for? Yes, you're going to shoot for targets, but it's the people that you're hanging around with, and it's the relationships that you're forming that make those shoots really important. And I know for me, the shoots that I go to every year, I pick them based on who's there. These are my friends that I get to see. That's why I go to that shoot. And you go every year. It's just part of it.
And you start picking some different shoots.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I would love to. Trust me, it would be a lot of fun to separate.
That is right there, though. We go to the shoots to have a good time. You want to win stuff, and every little extra thing helps. And that's what helps with like Tucson. Going back to that, Bill and Leanne Martin do the Martin Lewis there, and donate. I think it's around $30,000. Added money to that stuff, and it makes a difference. Can get you out of a shoot or the trip, by just winning an event, so that helps.
All right, folks, we got to take another quick break and thank one of our show sponsors, 73 Pointers Ranch, Jonesburg, Missouri. Rick and Carla Burke, best place in the area to go shoot chuckers and pheasants and have a great time. Rick, we got to get you down there.
Yeah, I need to come in. Hopefully I can do some hunting with you guys and come to your the annual clay shoot in August right after the Grand.
It's a lot of fun. It's the Optimist Club charity shoot. They throw a charity shoot. They put it on, and it's wonderful. I think last year they had over 100 entries into it, and it's just a good time. With that being said,
let's get back to the show. Now, coming up to the shoot, it's July 2nd, right? It's the first day. Is it the 2nd through the 7th, I think?
To the 6th.
Or to the 6th.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, that's the official shoot. And then on the Tuesday, because we have the Canadians is in Hamilton the weekend before.
Okay.
It's maybe an hour and 20 minutes between the two. So people will travel hopefully Monday, Tuesday. The gun club's going to have a warm-up day, as they're going to call it. And actually that day, I couldn't believe this. They're giving away, Craigoff is giving away 2 annual services to, however they're choosing to give it away. I think
There you go.
They're shooting off for it, pick a number. So you come and shoot that warm-up day, you could win a service on a Craigoff, which is great. And then, our Provincial starts on the 2nd.
Now, is that annual service giveaway? Is that Craigoff International that's doing that in the States?
Yeah.
Or, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because who is the Craigoff dealer up in your area?
I know they sell Craigoffs at Lowry, and then I think there's a place up on Niagara Falls, but I'm not 100% sure, to be honest with you.
All right. Well,
there isn't one close for sure. Like, I know.
Call me. We can get them imported.
Yeah.
There's an importer right in Ohio that does it. We've done it before.
Yeah. No, I know. I've heard stories. Guys just drive to Ottsville to get their gun fixed, which is 7, 8, 9 hours. But that's what you do, right? That's what you got to do. That's what you do.
So, I noticed that when I was up at Calgary shooting that time, because a wood stock is considered part of the gun, or is the gun, correct? You can't just bring stocks over.
I think that's right, Rick. Yeah.
Yeah, it was really because there was a lady that I was up there in that shoot, and her gun, like the stock cracked or something, and I said, "Oh, you just call and get a stock," and she's like, "No, we've tried," and I was like, "Really?"
Yeah.
So
no, that's definitely a challenge for us for sure, and that's why I think what you guys can recognize when we go down to the States, you go down to the Cardinal Center or whatever. Yep. That's when you're, like clockwork. You got to get your gun serviced because this is your chance.
Yeah, and I do notice that a lot, especially in Craigoff there at the Cardinal Center. There'll be a lot of Canadians that are in there getting their serve. And it was funny one time, one of the guys in there's like, "Why are we getting all these Canadian people in here?" And I'm like, "Well, they don't have just gunsmiths like we do everywhere. They don't have the opportunity to ship it because they can't ship it to Ottsville."
Yeah, no, it's a process for sure. And we have a couple good gunsmiths in Ontario for sure. Like there's a younger guy, Dan Best is his name. He's a good gunsmith, and a lot of people go to him. But yeah, if you want your like official service and stuff like that, then and that's the same as other companies too. You got to go to the States and get the parts and get it done there. But
get it done.
But it is what it is.
Yeah, no, absolutely. You do what you do for shooting. That's for sure.
Yeah,
100%. No, I love it. I'm excited that you guys are having the shoot. I'm still contemplating if I can make the trip up there. Ricky's still thinking about it too, so we're kind of mulling it over. And
if my wife can't come, I mean, Zach, you could, we could go up there.
We could. It'd be like Dubai all over again.
Yeah.
Another international trip. I wonder if we can get Emirates Air from St. Louis to. I mean, man, they treat you good. It'd be a short flight, but it's fun. Yeah, but
it'd be a good flight for sure.
No, little bumpy. But
what other shoots do you have coming up besides the provincials?
There's the Canadians the weekend before, and then St. Thomas also does a Victoria Day shoot. So it's the weekend before Memorial Day. So we call it Victoria Day.
Okay.
2-4 if you want the informal term for it. They have a 3-day shoot that weekend. Which it's a great shoot. It always has been. That was the one for us back in the day. It used to be called the shell shoot, and it'd be 200-300 flats of shells as prizes, back 10, 15, 20 years ago. And
didn't Federal sponsor that?
Yeah, Federal, yeah.
That's right. I remember that.
Those are actual flats. They don't come with the conversion where you lose some.
That's right. Yeah, right. And it was good because you could load up for the year, right? Like there was a ton of people in Ontario. You shot Federals because you could buy 50 flats of them in the spring, and then you didn't have to worry about it in terms of chasing shells down. So
that's
a 3-day shoot there, and then we have every weekend there's 2-3 clubs throwing 300 targets and doing their best to keep the game going, and that's the thing. We talk about all these big shoots, as you guys know, but the lifeblood of the ATA is that Thursday night big 50 and the Sunday shoots with 7 people at it. 10 people shooting in the snow or the pouring rain just because they love it. So
And
The
that's
local
what it's all about.
shoots, and
Yeah.
that's, I really think that the ATA needs to do some stuff to help out and get that back to really promoting the small shoots instead of just promoting the big shoots,
yeah,
is helping out with the smaller clubs, because that's where it all starts.
yeah,
Yeah, if you get people to come to the weekend shoots and you get them to kind of get hungry, then they're going to go to the bigger shoots. And at the end of the day, you've got to it's kind of like the farm team, right? It's AAA ball and then it's pro ball. Like they're going to go and they're going to shoot the little shoots and kind of win a trophy here and there. And then they're like, okay, it's time for a state shoot. It's time for a satellite grand. I mean, that's what I'd seen more. I mean, that's how I started. I know Ricky probably started small too, leagues and stuff. And it's
absolutely.
just a natural progression of the game, I guess.
Hey, Trap Talk listeners, we got to take a real quick break, and we got to thank Ron Prescott from Mid-State Precious Metals for everything they do for the trap shooting community, coast to coast, for all your gold and silver buying needs. And on top of that, new announcement, they're a sponsor of the 126th Grand American.
Finally, he said it right, folks. Grand American. Yeah, Ron is a great guy. He's a sponsor of the Backfence Shootout at Nevada State Shoot and Ohio State Shoot. And also, we got our gold for our Trap Talk event at Nevada State Shoot. And the 77th annual Nevada State Shoot, they bought all theirs from him. 680 ounces of silver to be exact, folks. You're missing out if you're not there.
That's a lot of silver. And honestly, if you're not buying from Ron, you're probably overpaying. So whether you're buying it for your gun clubs or your shoots or for your personal use, you got to give them a try because they're big supporters of the Trap Shooting Nation. So it's awesome. With that being said,
let's get back to the show.
Beau, is there anything else that we're missing today that we didn't really touch on that you want to make sure we smoke out before we get out of here?
Yeah, I mean, the big thing with our landscape now over here is that I've been surprised at, impressed with, happy with, whatever we want to call it, is I've been blown away with. We have all this added money and all these prizes and all this stuff, and that's money coming from other people, right? Like the amount of donors that have stepped up, sponsors that have said we're in, mind blowing to me. And it's been 4 or 5 years of really pushing that. But so the people that are listening to this, hopefully that did help our shoot or are continuing to help us. It's unbelievable. And the big thing with coming up here is just come and do it. The shoots are well run. The targets are good. Their prizes are great. The people are great. Just come and have a shoot. Keep all the, we all try our best to keep the riffraff out of our discussions and our interact, just come and shoot. It's just as fun as any shoot that I've gone to in the States. Our shoots are the same.
Yeah. Well, we'll have to look at it and see, because I've only, like I said, I've shot the Calgary Stampede once. I am supposed to go to British Columbia for the Labor Day shoot with Gord Fowler and Lisa Salt, or do some stuff with that club over there. And I think it's Vernon, way up north. And but I'd like to come up because I've never shot in Ontario. So
you should definitely do that.
That's we'll have to, Zach and I have to discuss this.
Yeah.
We'll get on the horn and figure it out. But Beau, you're a great guy. We appreciate everything you're doing for trap shooting. We appreciate the OPTA and the fact that they're throwing a great shoot and putting a lot of added money. And to echo your thoughts, thank you to everyone that supports trap shooting through your donations, through giving your time, through being on a board, through taking a new shooter out for the first time. I think that's what it's going to take. Every one of us needs to pick up just a little bit of slack, and that's what's going to keep the sport moving in a forward direction. So, I would ask you all to just think about that when you're going out there. How can you give back? How can you bring somebody in? How can we make things better? If everybody pulls the weight together, it'll be light. If, the same old people have to do it every time, it gets tiring and it's hard, so we really appreciate you doing that job. And, we really appreciate having you on the show.
Yeah. And like you said, just to echo that's been the thing, that a lot of people doing something is a lot easier than a couple people, doing 90% of the work. And our association is good. Our board is great. And like I said, all those Sunday shoots the volunteers get older and older and older, as we know. And we're shooting in the rain. Well, they're sitting in a chair scorekeeping and it's pouring rain and, 3 degrees or whatever you guys would say, 35 Fahrenheit out. And they're given that time. So that is awesome and much appreciated for sure.
Yeah. Well, one thing that we didn't ask is, in July. What is the weather like up there?
Beautiful.
Is it?
Beautiful.
So what are we talking
Sunny.
like Celsius? What are we looking at? Like 75, 60,
Oh, yeah. Or hotter, yeah.
80?
Sunny 80.
Shorts and t-shirts, huh?
Absolutely. We're not that far north. Like I'm not in the Arctic. I can see the United States from my window.
We're not in Pat Lamont land.
No, July, the weather's beautiful.
Is it? Okay.
Oh, beautiful. Yeah, it'd be sunny and 80 degrees every day, if not 90.
Really?
I love it.
But it might be 60. But
I love
Yeah,
it.
well, no, that's fine. I live in Nebraska, so one day it's 80, the next day it's 30 and snowing. So I mean,
No, July the weather's beautiful. It's a great time of year to shoot. Hopefully, as many people as we can get up here,
okay.
come and shoot, and as many of our own members too. Right? That's our target market is our own shooters, but the more people we can drag up here, that's awesome.
You're close to Buffalo. You know, you're close to Detroit. There's a lot of shooters in that area, so
for sure.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to look into that, and I'll let you know ASAP. I'm going to talk to my wife when we get off here and see what her thoughts are, and if she's going to be able to get off and do it, because she won't be able to work remotely from Canada. But so
we do have internet up here, though.
Well, I know you do.
Yeah, but yeah, no, I appreciate what you guys are doing too. This history stuff has been great for especially the new shooters. Like, it's great for them to learn the stories about Britt Robinson and Phil Kiner and Carmichael and all those people. I think it's awesome. So
yeah, absolutely.
Thank you for that. And we really appreciate everyone listening today on this Friday. Stay tuned in, like, share, subscribe, make a trip up to Canada and get some poutine, shoot some targets, and have some fun. And Beau, we appreciate you being on the show. We'll catch you all next week. Thanks for tuning in.
Thanks, Beau. We appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
Hey, Trop Talk listeners, let's take a quick second to thank a couple more amazing sponsors. SOS Clays Shoot Management. They're doing a fantastic job. I love the app. I love being able to see everything on my phone instantaneously. It's freaking awesome. Rick, what do you think?
Yeah, Greg Pink and his group over there. I mean, they've got majority of the satellite grands, majority of the state shoots. I think it's 40 plus state shoots they're doing. But the app, honestly, we were doing a little beta testing with that at the Spring Grand. It's awesome. You can see your squad if they paid. You know, you can see your options, your payouts. The whole works at your fingertips. Great deal. They're just
Ricky knew how much money he made before he even got off the line. He was like, hey, I'm buying lunch. I'm like, yeah, good job. We're good to go.
That's
we
right.
also got gun and trophy insurance. I mean, they're the best in the business. I know they're great price. Ricky, you're familiar with them, right?
Yeah, Cole and Larry Cushman been long-time supporters of myself, and I've been a supporter of them, and, you know, especially with my college team. You know, we require insurance. It's so fast and easy to sign up and get your insurance in literally 10 minutes. You can have your guns insured, and they're just great. They're great to deal with. Like I said, you can do your trophies also, you know, your wildlife animals and that such, and your guns. It's just a great
It's
product.
always good when you're
Great
traveling
product.
around to have that peace of mind and know that you don't have to worry about losing your stuff forever. And these are expensive things, especially when you got those Krieg-Offs. You got to keep them insured. So
Exactly.
with that being said,
let's get back to the show.
And the Trap Talk podcast is brought to you in part by
RM Shooting Clinics. Have Ricky take your game to the next level. If you want to shoot hundreds, give Ricky a call today. Zach Nannini Financial. We believe in putting people first.